Welcome to SEL in EDU.
where we discuss all things social and emotional in education.
I'm Krista.
And I'm Craig, and we are your hosts on this journey.
This podcast is created in partnership with Pennsylvania ASCD.
All right, SEL and EDU family, it is so exciting. Today is special because there are two Craigs who are going to be on this podcast. And so before we introduce the man himself, who is our guest and a beloved, leader and champion in our community, Krista, I am curious, how have you been enjoying this beautiful, beautiful weekend?
I am doing really well. Craig M. I'm going to have to Craig M and Craig S. I'm doing really well. And actually, have you heard, this is a small, have you heard of Gabriel Iglesias? He's a
Yes.
comedian. My
Yes.
niece and I are going to see him tonight in Reading. So we've seen him before, and I love him. He cracks me up. So I'm in a really good mood, and I'm excited to have a chance to keep the laughs going and to keep the good vibes going for the rest of the day. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. I am not going to see a comedian spend their time, but it'll be okay. Okay. But yeah, I'm absolutely excited to uh, just be on a podcast with you and our guests. We have Craig Shapiro here, so it's just really cool to be here in the same place. So yes. So I will try to do my best to actually capture in some unique way what Craig Shapiro is to us. I mean, one of the amazing leaders who is, a driving force for Teach Pause in regards to the Twitterverse, and also positively well. I know that Craig is also the author of Dream Big Simple Steps for Transforming Your Classroom. If you are following Craig, who is also a phys ed teacher, health education teacher, and also just this god in the fitness world, you will know that he just broke a couple of I believe it's state records. So this is the thing I'm super excited about in regards to the bench and the squat. And if I'm not mistaken, and there's more I could say, but I'm being a little bit selfish today, people, because I believe you lifted like almost 1,000 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. Is that
What?
correct?
Yeah, I was I live in Pennsylvania, so in August I was training for a relatively large powerlifting meet, and I was competing in so I'm 57, so I was competing in a masters division in a certain weight class, and I broke the state bench press record, the state squat record, and I now have the national overall total record. So I think it was 956 pounds or something like that.
Insane. Insane.
I wish you could see our faces right now. As you family, we're like, what?
How do you? So this is not on our little question list, but Craig Shapiro. I'm like emerging, like I'm starting out lifting and benching and stuff like this, and so I am curious. I know that this has been part of your lifelong work, so I know that
Yep.
this is not new to you in regards to being a power lifter. But how does one actually get their mind wrapped around and accepting that they can lift over 900 pounds? So whatever 900 pounds represents, because 900 pounds to you is what 950 plus pounds you lifted. But there are people who think 100 pounds is a lot. Some people may think that 300 pounds is a lot. Some people may be thinking, like, me leading 24 students in a classroom is that perpetual weight. So how do you coach people to actually believe, because I know it starts with the brain, that this is something that you can do?
Well, I mean, I guess I would say everything is really, I kind of think about things in steps, like being a teacher. I guess people that I train, kids that I coach, kids that I teach, other people that I work with, I always kind of say, like, think about like where you are now. Think about some small goals that you'd like to achieve, the steps that's the steps that you're going to take to get them, and then, broaden your horizons. I also believe that it's really important. I don't like to necessarily use, and people talk about like failure, like, oh, it's okay to fail. I don't really like that word. I think it is perfectly okay to not be successful in something. I think that's a better choice of words. So for me, what I would say to anybody, whether it's Krista or you, Craig, or anybody else, I would say, why are you doing this? What are your goals, and how bad do you want them?
Mhm.
And for me, that's something I've been doing it for most of my life. So the number is just a number. I think, Craig, you did a really nice job of kind of summarizing. It's just a number. Like any number is any number. Like somebody who starts picking up a weight, maybe they can't lift 20 pounds. Well, maybe a month later they can lift 20. So it's all about just setting positive goals for yourself, taking some really good risks, being consistent. I mean, the fitness, we could talk to you about wellness
Mhm.
forever and ever and ever and ever. Like that's my passion. But I would say really it just comes down to setting your mind to something and starting off with goals that are achievable. It's like the SMART model, like
Yeah.
specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Like
Mhm.
set goals that you really believe that you can achieve. So like if you were somebody I was helping and I would say to you, hey, Krista, what do you want to do? And you say, well, I want to lift 1,000 pounds. My first question would be, have you ever lifted a weight? Like if you've
Mm.
never lifted a weight, that would probably be a little unrealistic. But if you said, well, I want to lift 20 pounds, I'm like, let's do it. Let's go for it. So um, I like I said, I mean, I'm happy about it, but not satisfied. Like, that's just one goal. The next goal's coming. Like it's just keep setting goals and keep going after things.
So
Mhm.
I ask, what what is your next goal, and where are you thinking in your headspace? Because for me, I set goals and they might take me a very long time to achieve it, and then I don't want to think about it. I'm like, phew, goal free for like a month, and then after a while, like the next little steps start creeping in, and I'm like, oh, maybe this is where I want to go. So what's that process feel like for you once you have achieved something, in perhaps establishing where you want to go next?
Well, first I would the first thing I would say is, and it kind of goes back to my original comment of so many times, and I'm not, I know we're talking about wellness, but this can be anything. It can be in education, it can be in anything. Sometimes what I see with people is they set goals that are just so beyond the realm of what they're currently able to do. So, like when somebody says, well, talk about a far reaching goal, something that's way out there. I don't set those goals for myself. I set goals that I know that I'm capable of doing, maybe not in the moment, but somewhere down the line. So, what I always think about is where am I now? And what is something that with time I can accomplish in, let's say, 3 to 6 months? And then once I get to that point, then I address it. So when I first started thinking about goals, I had goals in my head about what I wanted to do. I had it, like I had numbers in my head. And as I was training, those numbers adjusted. Just like anything else. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It's no different than being in education. It's like saying, well, you're giving kids a test or a quiz or a project, and you like them to perform at a certain level. Okay, well, you give them this, and if they perform at that level, well, you don't stay at that level, right? You
Mhm.
say, what's the next level? What's the next thing we have to do to get better? So it's all about setting a progression that is doable. Like it has to be doable. Like if you don't, it's like saying to somebody, um, you know, if I've never shot a foul shot in my entire life, and somebody says I want to make 10 out of 10 foul shots, but you've never shot a foul shot, that's just such an unrealistic goal. You've never even done it. But if somebody said, hey, I want to make one shot out of 10 and I want to do that in a week, well, that's much more reasonable. I don't know if that answers your question, but hopefully, yes.
Oh, it does, and it makes me think back to last year when I was thinking about the January, you set those resolutions, and I'm not a fan
Yeah.
of that because I think we need
Yeah.
to start at any time.
Yep.
But Jim Collins talks about setting this big, hairy, audacious goal. They call it BHAG. But you're getting me to
Mhm.
really think like, okay, you might have that big goal, but we need to scale it back. And what does that look like? So, what does that look like for you now? What is your personal next journey, whether in wellness or fitness or education?
Well, I mean, I've been, like I said, I've been in education for 34 years. So, I think, for me, I kind of look at, like, obviously from the wellness standpoint, um, I want to increase my number by a certain amount of pounds. So, which, and I'm not sure exactly where that is yet. I mean, but I have an idea. From a standpoint of the wellness piece, really, I love my goal is to reach as many people as I can about the power of positivity.
Mhm.
Um, and I know that the positivity is like broad, like it's a broad term, but I think, like, who doesn't want to have a positive life? Like,
Mhm.
who doesn't want that? Like, it's a good thing, and it's just how do we get there? In education, um, really just continue to do what I'm doing. Continue to really push the SEL stuff, which I think is really important. I mean, that's incredibly important to me. And then, other than that, just keep doing what I'm doing.
Mhm. And one of the things that I really have appreciated about you, Craig, and I was processing. I've spent a small, like a very sliver amount of time with you in like the Code Breaker Lounge a time or two
Mhm.
as
Yep.
well. One of the things that I really 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 appreciate about you is that you share platforms, you share resources, you create opportunities for other leaders and other educators to share space and kind of take the helm of this teach positivity
Mhm.
um, like movement that you started a number of years ago.
Mhm.
And I know that in what I've gotten to know of you, whether or not it was Coldbreak or just the Teach Pause platform and space, is the power of making sure that there's a variety of voices that we get to hear from. And
Sure.
I really appreciate you for that.
Mhm.
I'm curious, what made you decide? Because some of us are entrepreneur, we want to hold on to stuff that's ours, but it seems like it's been for as long as I've been looking back at some of the work that you've been doing. You've been doing that for a long time. What I guess stemmed that for you?
Are you talking about Teach Pause?
Yes.
So, okay, this is this is kind of interesting. I was I was in one of my classes teaching a class, and I wanted to really do something different. You know, try to reach out to kids and kind of connect on the social media piece. And one of the people that I worked with was a librarian, and she was like, Craig, do you do a lot of Twitter? And I'm like, yeah, I'm on it, but I don't really use it that much. She's like, really? I'm like, nah. She's like, you got to do it. So I brought my class down to the library, and we just hopped on Twitter. And I was looking at, and I think we called it like health class period 3. Just something silly. And then we just started going back and forth. And it was crazy because I was looking at all of their comments. And of course, it was all about like wellness and being positive. And they were asking me all these questions. And it was crazy because I couldn't keep up. It was like
Mhm.
26 kids, like bang, 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 bang. I was like, oh, okay, everybody, slow down. Stop for a second. I'm new to this. So then what it ended up happening is I got on Twitter, and one of my former students had I guess a chat that they were
Mhm.
doing, and I just happened to connect with it, and it was pretty cool. And I was like, oh, I got to do this. And I was like, okay, you know what? Sunday night, 7:30. It's right before the school week. How about teach pause? And the first time I did it, I'll never forget. I had no, and this goes back to Krista, kind of like the goals and everything we're talking about. Like, one thing I will say, Craig, about like putting yourself out there, right?
Mhm.
Like, I really believe, like, as educators, aren't we trying to make the world a better place?
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
isn't that what we're trying to do?
Yes.
So if we're trying to do that, then we should do whatever we can to do that.
Mhm.
So I threw out this Teach Pause chat. I think I had like 2 people in it.
It's
And
where we start.
I had and I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea. And then I started to connect with all these people. And like, okay, we love it. And now it's like kind of like I would say to anybody who gets a chance to watch is that I am a huge fan of not being afraid to take a risk.
Mhm.
I think that's one of the things in education, you know, it's very common to just be afraid to try something new because it won't work. What if people don't like it? What if kids don't like it? Or what if somebody's watching me? Really? Come on, that's what you got? Like, put yourself out there, take a little bit of a risk. Like,
Mhm.
if it doesn't work, ask for help and make it better. So,
Mhm.
from that point, then basically, obviously, we could transform to now where it's just its own thing. Like, I have people,
Mhm.
I have somebody doing the chat for me tonight. Like, I'm not even
Mhm.
doing it. Somebody else is, I mean, I'll be there and I'll be in it, but somebody else is moderating it.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of like, if somebody said to me, "Can I moderate?" Yeah, it's not mine. I don't own it. Like, I'm doing it. I mean, I started the chat, but I don't like. If every week somebody said, "Can I run your chat?" I'm like, "Go for it. The more, the better. The more, the merrier. Let's do it."
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, no, I've seen there's a couple of people. One is like Dr. Matt Joseph. I've seen
Yep.
him run a
Yep.
number of
Yep.
them.
Yep.
Dr. Basil Moran, who's
Yep.
another good friend.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
seen them do it. And I see, if I'm not mistaken, even Barbara Bray, right? Has Barbara Bray run
Ba-
one with you?
Barbara Bray, Matt Joseph, Dr. Basil. I know them, and Barbara
Mhm.
Bray is a dear friend. Matt Joseph, dear friend. I mean, they're good friends of mine.
Mhm.
And they're quality educators. Like, we're talking about people that are making the world a better place. And I think going back to the Teach Pause thing, I always want a platform where I don't want people to agree with me.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, obviously, if you do, then that's great. I mean, you can agree with me, but that's not a prerequisite.
Mhm.
Like, ultimately, we want to have a divergent set of voices always.
Mhm.
So even in the Teach Pause, which is honestly every chat is a positive chat. That's why it's
Mhm.
called Teach Pause. But there are we always talk about challenges. Like, it's not just like, hey, let's go. I mean, that's not what it is. Like, it's always about
Mhm.
trying to educate and enlighten and get people ready for the week ahead.
Mhm. Yeah, and I know Chris is going to jump in. Craig, one of the things I appreciated, and you put in, like, you really do put yourself out there in the ether for us, because I saw that you had attended a wedding, and that particular person had some different perspectives about things, and you were like, "Look, I'm not passing judgment. I don't really know you. We could shake hands and keep going, but." That's just kind of how you walk this earth. And so I really appreciated
Oh my
that
God.
perspective.
That is Craig, I gotta give you some kudos, man. I can't believe you brought that up because I put stuff out there because I want people to realize that in order to make our world a better place,
Mhm.
in my opinion, and again, I'm saying me, like, you can think something different. That's you. You do you. I believe that just because this person at this wedding doesn't agree with me and their views are diametrically different than mine, that doesn't make them a bad person. It just means they think differently,
Mhm. Yeah,
and I think that's what we need.
yeah.
Yeah, I love, like, I'm in awe right now, for several different reasons, and we definitely connect on the SEL piece because that's a
Yep.
passion of mine. And I
Yep.
really do, I do a self-assessment multiple times of the day on
Yep.
where I'm at with each of the competencies and what do I need to readjust. And so when you
Mhm.
were talking about being flexible and readjusting and taking those risks and be willing to put ourselves out there, we need to model that for other people if that's what we
Yeah.
want to see. And one of the things that I really appreciate that I'm hearing and that Craig has really honored about you is this ability, and I'm hoping I'm using the right words, but like to put the ego aside and to share. Like it's not about me, it's about us. And we all own this. And how are we working together?
Mhm.
Because a lot of times I think people in general get caught up in the me piece.
Yeah.
And And on top of that, the third piece that really was resonating with me is what Craig said about being able to have divergent views, but still treat each other with kindness and respect. And I think that that's incredibly important when we're talking about building SEL skills among adults and our youth. Um, and they don't always see positive role models of this in the world of people who can agree to disagree and still get
Mhm.
along. And the one last piece that I'm thinking about is I've had students say to me, high school students, well, where do you draw the line? And for me, I think about and I'm going to paraphrase it because I tried to Google it, but it's a James Baldwin quote
Mhm.
about, I respect your right to have your own opinions as long as those opinions don't infringe on my humanity and ability to live my life.
Yep.
I'm wondering, yeah, where is that? How do you kind of process that and work
Mhm.
with students in building their SEL skills?
Well, I think. Well, first of all, let me just say this, and I'm one of the coordinators in my school and in my district, and one of the things I say is that the term SEL, right, social emotional learning, right? I always say that's just being a good person. Like it's just being a good teacher, being a good leader. Like when you think about social and emotional learning, at its core, respect, dignity, trust, honesty, compassion, empathy.
Yeah.
Those are human skills that all of us should be trying to show students every single day. It doesn't mean that we're perfect. It doesn't mean we're going not going to make mistakes, but those core values are the backbone of all of it. Like I've never had a student ever say to me, "What did you like about Mr. Shapiro's class?" "Oh, you know what? I really loved the health quiz he gave us the other day."
True.
What? It's more like this. I really liked this class because he was really a positive force. He made me feel good about coming to school. Well, that's SEL. Like when kids walk into our schools, walk into our classrooms, how do they feel? Simple as that. How do they feel? How do we feel? Like if we are walking into our schools and classrooms inspired, passionate, enthusiastic, engaged, well, you're going to get the same thing from your students because that is what you're modeling. If, on the other hand, you're not showing those skills or traits or values or whatever you like to call them, then kids will follow suit. And I also think with the SEO, it's very important to be open and honest. So for me, when I'm modeling things to students, if I'm having a tough morning, I tell them, "Hey, everybody, great to see you today. So glad you're here. Listen, I had a little bit of a tough night. I'm sorry if I don't seem like my usual spunky self. Please forgive me." Mhm. Well, that's just being authentic.
Yes.
Like that's all it really is, just being authentic. Like when somebody says "fake it till you make it," what does that mean? I don't. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. I mean, I say just be real. Like be real. Like if if I have a tough night, I'm going to say to kids, "Hey, everybody, great to see you," which I'm still going to say because I am happy to see them. But I'm also going to say, "I had a tough night. You know, Like perfect example. Like 6 months ago, I have a dog. One of my dogs passed away, and I said to my class, like, think about it. A lot of students have animals, so there is a great teaching point. Like, hey, everybody, I lost my dog last night. I know a lot of you have pets, so I am sorry if I'm not my usual crazy, spunky self today. Please, know that I'm still thinking about you, but it was a tough night. That moment, it brings an immediate connection to students because it's just a sense of realness. It's not like I'm not trying to impress them. Just be real. And SEL, by and large, is about that. Like, if you don't have those skills, guess what? Learn them.
Yes.
Like, if you don't have them, get them.
We have to.
Like,
We have
you have.
to.
It's that simple. And whenever somebody says, "Well, I haven't tried that yet," okay, cool. I got you. You haven't tried it. That's fair. Hey, what can I do to help you so you can try it? And if it doesn't work, don't quit. Don't quit on it. Let's try something else. Like, it's like, what it's like? It's like greeting kids at the door, Like, hey, listen, I know you're used to sitting at your computer. I understand. That. But when kids walk in, let's try at least one time this week to come to the door and greet kids at the door. And let's see how it goes. So when they walk in and you say good morning, let's see if that creates a much better response than you staring at your computer screen.
Yes,
Right?
and that goes back to your goals of just do it once.
Yes.
Let's set something reasonable and achievable, doable.
But unfortunately, in education, one of the things that I've seen over many years is to have these very, very lofty goals, and I say, like, yes, I agree with you, Christy. You said before about having those large goals. You should have them. Dream big. Yeah, dream big. But you got to dream small first. Like, you got to dream small first. You can't just, like, if you're just aiming for the moon, but you've never stepped on a rock and climbed the hill, you got a long way to go. So start small, and then once that happens, you build upon it and build upon it. And before you know it, you can actually see it. So if I was talking to anybody about anything with SEL, I wouldn't say to them, hey, Craig, you got to be empathetic and compassionate and trusting and respectful and kind and engaging. What? On the first day? That's a little bit overwhelming. How about this? Hey, Craig, I'm going to pick some of these traits. What do you think you can do on this day? Do you think you can be empathetic, engaging, passionate, compassionate? Oh, yeah, Craig, I think I can show empathy today. Do it. Let's go.
Yep.
Because in education, things get overwhelming. We got a million things on our plate. And now somebody else is throwing this whole, we got to do SEL now. Whoa, never done that before. What's that look like?
Yeah. Well, and I think you hit it right there. What does that look like? Because it can look different things for different groups of people.
Yep.
I was working with a staff up north of me with 2 high schools, and we were talking about trust and kind of deconstructing, because trust is a core for any relationship, but it's not explicitly in any of the skill, like any of the 5 competencies, because it's in all of them, really.
Yes.
And so I had them write down, we went through this worksheet that I tried to create to spark conversation on what does it look like, sound like, and feel like, and what can I do as a facilitator to foster trust with you and among you, but then what can you do to demonstrate that you're trustworthy? And I was working with the principal out near Pittsburgh, and he's like, but if I demonstrate trust to you, like, we don't have to always talk about it. I can just show you. I said, but what if what you're showing me doesn't fit into a trust action for me? And so those teachers near me, one of them wrote down, I need you to have difficult conversations with me and challenge me. And for me, that was good to know, because when I'm building trust with somebody, that's not immediately where I go. That to me is usually after I've built trust with somebody, they know I'm caring about them enough that we can have difficult conversations And I want people to do that with me. And so, long story short, I think that really getting explicit on what does this look like for our kids so that we can model it for them is very important.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, it's like think about the first day of school, right? The first day kids come into a classroom. Okay, well, they don't know you. I mean, and you might not know them. So that initial step of bringing in the classroom of, you know, a smile, like a smile, like it's, hey, good morning, everybody. Good to see you today. That's an inherent trust builder. How are you doing today? How is everybody? What can I do to help you? Those are things that start that process. And I also believe that we don't, as educators, we're performers, right? Like we're performers, and we're used to doing all the performing. And I think that's kind of like a mistake in education. Really, you want there to be shared performances, like a movie with a whole bunch of superstars. So instead of having one Robert De Niro and Meryl Streep and Denzel Washington, you want to have a whole bunch of them. And how do you do that? I think the first thing is, and in my book that's coming out, I have a chapter called "The Gift of Gab." It's called "The Gift of Gab," and I, unfortunately, one of my, I guess I would say one of my skills and one of my pitfalls is I'm a talker. Like I'm a talker, and it's
We
great.
can't tell. We cannot
Yeah.
tell that you're a talker.
it's
You've got such good stuff. Keep going.
it's kind of like a blessing and a curse, because like you want to share information, right? Like you want kids to be empowered. And one of the things I learned, I never forget this. I was teaching a class and I always do a lot of reflection with kids. Hey, everybody, what do you think of class? What can I do to be better? And kids never hear that. You do know that, right? They never hear that.
Right.
They never hear from a teacher, what can I do to be better?
It's putting your ego aside and getting feedback.
Right. Well, first of all, you shouldn't. I mean, we all have egos, but you shouldn't have an ego. I mean, you're a teacher. So, like, to me, so I'm talking to my class and they're looking at me. And most people do not call me. Well, first of all, no students call me Mr. Shapiro. Everybody calls me Shap. So it's just what it is. So they're like, Shap, what do you mean? I'm like, what I just said. Like, what can I do to be better? And they're like, well, nobody asked us that. I'm like, I just did. I don't understand. It's not really that complicated. Well, what do you want us to say? I'm like, whatever you want. Just try to be respectful. They're like, well, so girl in the back puts her hand up, but she's like, Shap, don't be mad at me. I'm like, I'm not gonna be mad. She goes, I love you. And she goes, you're so positive and inspiring, but you talk too much. I was like, yeah, I do. So that's my long-winded way of saying, shut up and listen.
Hmm. Student voice, the power of student voice. And I know you did a video about that a month ago or so, just to a number of us leaders who are really trying to figure out how do we create more engagement with young people who may appear to be checked out, and student voice is one of those great powers. So as we come to a close of our conversation, because I know you have we both know you have a podcast, sorry, a Twitter chat coming up, and you might be doing some other things before you gear up for the podcast, the Twitter chat. Good gracious, got to get my life together. So what do you consider? What would you consider to be your SEL superpower?
Honestly, I would say it's just really being positive. I think that's really what it is. I think well, first of all, I say this to people, and I'll say it to both of you, Craig and Krista. I don't think I am. I am like I am a positive person. I think when people say I think this, it kind of devalues them. Like I don't want to say I think I am. I am a positive person. I do my best every day to try to spread positivity to kids, the people I work with, every single day. That's what it is.
Thank you. So another question I wanted to ask before we close, and Krista may have something else, but before we close is we've not spent as much talking about CMS. Well, maybe we have CMS Dreams Big, and so for those listeners here who are, this may be an introduction to them. You may be an introduction to them,
Mhm.
or maybe they're continued, enthusiasts who are inspired by you in the work and walk that you carry each day. What does it mean for someone today with all the stuff that we have going on? What is it? What are you hoping that they take away when they hear "dream big"?
I would say that my number one thing is be willing to put yourself out there in a way that is making our world a better place. Don't be afraid of being judged by others, because if your heart is in the right spot and your intentions are good, then it really doesn't matter.
Thank you. I don't know if Krista has something else to
I
add.
just no, that was a fabulous way, and, I'm just gonna say online too, now that I know that you're super close to me, I'm hoping that we can continue to connect, and I love that your Twitter see, look, now I'm messing up, Craig. The Twitter chat is on Sunday nights at 7:30, which is so
Mm,
powerful because we do always need that kinda pick me up before the Monday starts, because whether we're students or educators or people in the work world, sometimes Sunday nights can be a little difficult because you may have had a powerful weekend and then you're like, oh, got to shift gears to be your best self, for Monday morning. And so I love that that's a Sunday evening collective for people where they can reinvigorate themselves. And I think you just exude positivity. So thank you for your time and your willingness to share with us today.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Craig and Kristen. And again, I really do appreciate. I'm honored that you thought of me. It does make me feel really good. And I do believe that, like, if the three of us kind of just continue the path of trying to help others, it doesn't mean that things will be a straight line up. It won't be perfect, but if we continue to do that, then a lot of great things happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, SEL and EDU family, it has been a true honor for us to have Craig Shap Shapiro, because I was processing it. I did not say your last name correctly, and I do apologize about that. But I think I, may have done okay. It has been incredible. We know you have a book coming out, Dream Big: Stories and Strategies for Success in the Classroom. You have 30 plus years in this business doing incredible work and being an incredible human being for us all. And we really appreciate you joining us. And for those who are trying to connect with you out in the social media world, how can they do that?
I would say just kind of connect on Twitter. Is probably the easiest thing. I use it a lot. They can go to my website, cmsdreambig.com, if they want. I have some a bunch of blog posts on this and videos if they want to check it out. But probably Twitter's probably the best place.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you. We will be linking your accounts to our resources. So make sure, if you're listening, family, to go on down and to reconnect.
Absolutely. And so we've been blessed to have Craig Shapiro here. And so we are looking forward to having many, many, many more opportunities to be in time and space with Craig as we move forward. So for all of you, it has been amazing. We want you to make sure you keep holding yourself dear, all of your loved ones dear and tight as we stand strong in our SEL life. Y'all take care. We love y'all.